Well, hello, hello. Welcome to Heart of the Tribe. I'm so glad you're able to come and join me today, whether you're able to join me live or you get to watch this at a later time. It's my prayer that this message will be a blessing for you. Lots been going on here at Heart of the Tribe. Uh, I had to get a whole new setup. So I had a flood in the office, a computer crash, all kinds of things going on. And honestly, I looked at it all and I said, well, Yah, without an abundant miracle, there is no way I'm going to be able to fix this without you. And one of the members of Heart of the Tribe Fellowship, went ahead and posted that need on our Telegram accounts, and between that online Telegram account, fellowship, and my own Torah group, the needs have been supplied in abundance. The resources to meet those needs have been supplied in abundance. And I am so grateful. And it just really confirmed to me what I was hearing from Yah, which was now was the time to press in and to keep sharing and to encourage people. So that was, I made a new video. Hello, Bethany. So glad you're here with me today. Good to see you. So I just wanted to share just a little bit about how this journey got started for me. I've probably shared it before, but I'm going to share it again. So in 2020, when I saw everything happening, I'd been praying about things for a while, and I was part of a Zoom fellowship group, Shabbat group. And so I was praying, Yah, what would you have me do during these days, during this time? And he led me directly to this verse. And it says, Yahuah has given me his words of wisdom so that I know how to comfort the weary. Morning by morning, he wakens me and opens my understanding to his will. And that's out of the New Living Translation. But it's basically about, he's given me the tongue of the learned to speak a word in season to him that is weary. And so that's how I made this new show video. We're going to be concentrating a lot on how do we strengthen ourselves in Yah to walk through these last days. What is it that we need to make that push to get through so that we don't become weary in well-doing? So that's what I want to share with everybody today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I've added this, and let's go ahead with it. So this is one of my favorite pictures. This is a piece of artwork by Donna Smallenberg. And I bought this piece of artwork from her back in like mid 1990s or late 1990s. And she does it's based off of Isaiah 60. Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of Yahuah has risen upon you. And deep darkness is going to cover the earth, and deep darkness the people, but my light is going to be seen in you. I'm paraphrasing. And it really connected with me. And as I prayed at it and looked at it, I knew at that moment that Yah was telling me he needed me to have the spirit of a warrior. And, that's something that continues in my life. It's something that I just have to keep it. We work it out, right? We keep working on that. So let me advance. So I was pondering all this, and the thing that hit me is, there's a lot of people right now in a lot of pain, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, no matter what it is, we have people. I'm going to see if I can adjust that just a bit. I'm still getting used to my new setup. So let's see if that works a little bit better between the sun and everything else going on, right? So what does it take to get through? What is it? There's got to be, no matter what's going on, this place of I'm going to push through. So when I was thinking about the word, to me, it was having resolve, right? It's having, something inside of you that rises above whatever the circumstances are. And I think that that's what our faith is. We're resolved that no matter what is happening, we're going to keep our eyes on Yah, right? We're not going to run off to the left and run off to the right, but we're going to keep our eyes on Yah. So I was looking it up, and what does resolve mean? Well, first they threw at me it's an intransitive verb. So I went, well, what in the heck is an intransitive verb? And it means it doesn't entail a direct object. So I was looking at that thinking, well, it's got an ethereal quality to it, right? It's something that can't necessarily be seen, right? So it's all about making a firm decision. The synonym is deciding. And to decide or express by a formal vote, to cause a person to reach a decision. So Bethany's got a comment here I'm going to read. Okay, I'm going to share it with the group. So Bethany says, do you know that Yah wants a woman to be a warrior? Only in Hebrew you'll know this. You just reminded me to buy the book from the pastor who explained this in scripture. Oh, you'll have to share with us, Bethany, the name of that book. Bethany is a wonderful researcher and has all kinds of insight and great sources. And so I always appreciate your insight, Bethany. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so resolve to endure. Okay. So I decided to go pick up my Sefer, and we're going to go through the first chapter of the Wisdom of Solomon. Now, I've got a playlist reading the entire book of the Wisdom of Solomon. If you do not have a Sefer of your own, you are welcome to listen to that playlist. If you need a Sefer, of course, you can go visit www.sefer.net and get yourself a copy. It's a wonderful thing to have. But let's go through it right now and let's break it down a little bit, because I did the reading, but we haven't really broken it down. So let's just read the first 4 verses. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verses 1 through 4. It says, love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of Yahuah with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him. For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and shows himself unto such as do not distrust him. For froward thoughts separate from Elohim, and his power, when it is tried, reproves the unwise. For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in a body that is subject unto sin. Okay, so we're going to have to break down some of this, because I love the Sefer, because I love language, and they have chosen sometimes some difficult words, but they're beautiful, and it gives so much meaning and richness to what we're looking at, right? So love, right? It is in the Hebrew, ahab, which I found very interesting, because ab is father, av, right? Aleph, vet or bet, right? But this one, love, is ahav. So it's got a hey in the middle, right in the middle. It's got a little man that looks like he's holding up his hands and worshiping. It's like, behold, it's wow, look at this, right in the middle of the strong leader's house, the father, right? And so it's love is having affection for. Now, love is going to go a lot deeper than that. And I already have been working on a series. I hope to do it on several mornings this week. I'm going to try to maybe pre-record some and get them to play at like 9:30 EST, just like I used to do shows like that. I'm going to try to get back to that. And so one of the first things that we're going to be looking at is the fruit of the Spirit. And And so there's going to be a whole series on what that is. And so we're going to dive deep into the word love. Hi, Carrie. Welcome and shalom. Okay. So righteousness. So it's saying love righteousness. And I mean, when I'm looking at that, I just go right there. Who is righteous? Who is righteousness itself? Well, that is Yeshua. So for me, I'm going to love Yeshua, right? So righteousness, the root is Zadok. Okay. And so you can see I've got it there in the pictograph. We've got a Zadi, a Dalit, and a Kuf. Okay. And what is it? Righteousness. It's justice, vindication. It's a just cause is being given its proper place. It's being honored, right? It's righteousness. Okay. So judges, love righteousness, ye that be judges. Well, who are the judges? Well, I thought this one was interesting. The word is palal, right? And it means those who intercede through prayer, right? Through prayer. And so I'm going to be digging into all of this in a big way on the series that's coming up, but I wanted to just kind of get some foundation going right now. So the word is palal, right? It's a primitive root Hebrew word. It's got a pay, it's got the mouth, right? And it's got a lamed and a lamed. So that lamed is the shepherd's staff. So what's it saying? That through prayer, proper prayer, it's trying to tell us as a judge of the earth is speaking with the shepherd's authority, right? Speaking into a situation, speaking life into situations, right? And so we have a position, right? And he's telling us if you want to do this properly, you've got to love righteousness so that you can speak properly into the situations that I have appointed you to be judge over through your intercession, right? Just thought that was fabulous when I got to see that in the pictographs. So love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of Yahuah with a good heart and in simplicity of heart seek him. So what is it to have it in simplicity of heart? Now I had to, do some Greek and Hebrew equivalents and read definitions to come up with what I found. But what I believe the Hebrew root word would be for simplicity is tamam, right? And that is a tav, a mem, and a mem. And it means to be completely crossed over, okay? To have sincerity without having a self-seeking within you, right? But to have what he wants in mind, right? Not like forgetting myself and my needs, but throwing myself into my faith, right? And living in a different realm. I believe that we're about to experience on this earth a rending of the veil, that we're going to see things that cause men's hearts to fail them for fear. Yah has to have us grounded and secure so that we can truly be his light on the earth, right? Totally, yes, Bethany, totally set apart to where we really understand that this is not our home, that his kingdom is our home, and that we have a job to do. This is the most incredible time on the earth. There's never been a time like this, like it is. And things are converging, right, to a tipping point. And if this is a time on earth like never before, Bill Cloud, one of my favorite Torah teachers, says, perhaps it's time for there to be a people like there have never been on earth before, right? This people of faith that really believe with all their heart, all their mind, all their soul, that are walking in the kingdom. I know that we've still got to deal with stuff here, but it's a mindset, it's an attitude, it's resolve, right? It's what we were looking at. So the simplicity of heart is completely crossed over. I am throwing myself into the arms of Yah for all my needs. And I trust him implicitly with everything that I am facing. Okay. So I love that in the pictograph, I'm looking at it. Okay. So what I see is I've got a tav, a mem, and a mem. So we know that that tav is all about the covenantal sign, right? It's a covenantal sign, just like the Shabbat is a covenantal sign. His feast are a covenantal sign, right? And so we've got this tav in this word, and this tav is over double waters. Now, I found that very interesting because we know that the waters are representative of the nations, right? What's happening in the world system, the nations raging. They're always compared to the waters, right? But then there's another water, there's an internal water, right? So if his covenant is ruling over the waters in me, right? My waters, then, and I can trust that his covenant is going to rule over any waters and wildness and chaos coming from the nations, because his plan for my life is going to prevail. I'm in covenant with him, right? Okay, so that was more of this simplicity of heart. So now going back to it, so love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth, think of Yahuah with a good heart, and in simplicity of heart seek him. For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and shows himself unto such as do not distrust him. So of course that, what is distrust? Well, it's the opposite of trusting. It's the opposite of having faith, right? For froward thoughts separate from Elohim. So what is a froward thought? A froward thought is something that is contrary to the truth. It's when I am struggling with something physical and a thought hits my brain. This is too much. It can't be fixed. You're not going to be able to overcome that. That is contrary to his truth. Right? So I have to take those thoughts captive. When a froward thought hits me, I have to say, oh, no, 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 no. No, that is from the enemy. Okay. I'm going to take that captive. I'm going to cast it out as a lie, and I'm going to seek his truth. Right. So we can't be swayed, right, by those froward thoughts. They're like, those are the darts and the arrows of the enemy coming at my mind, trying to get me to distrust Yah instead of walking in my faith and walking in trust, right? So for froward thoughts separate from Elohim and his power, right? And when you say okay to a thought that is not from him, that is a lie sent by the enemy, and you take that in as your own thought, and you allow that to germinate and dwell, and you start dwelling on that instead of the truth. Well, it strips you of the power to walk in his authority, right? And to literally change the atmosphere. So those forward thoughts separate from Elohim and his power. When it is tried, it reproves the unwise. Okay. So for into a malicious soul. Okay. What is a malicious soul? So malicious comes from the word malice. It's a desire to witness harm to another. Okay, so now this is a big one, because right now in the United States of America, people are riled up. They are, because the system is pushing people towards civil war. Okay, it's in the cards. It's been contrived. This is what's going to come. It is going to happen in this nation, to where neighbor rises up against neighbor. It's the programming. It's the broadcasting of seed through that black mirror box, that's in all of our homes, right? This is what newscasting is. They are broadcasting what they want you to behave like. It is control, it's manipulation, it's the tyrants setting people up. And so many will be drawn into this. Okay. We've got to be ready for that emotionally, mentally, but most of all, spiritually. And it doesn't hurt to be ready physically as much as you can. But the biggest preparation is to know the truth, right? And to draw near to Yah so that we are strengthened to handle whatever comes our way, and to know that we are his emissaries, right, on this planet. On this planet, those who are his representatives. We are emissaries. This is what Paul was trying to tell us. We've got a job to do. And so we can't get drawn into that malicious mindset, no matter what happens, right? We may lose people that we care deeply about. People are going to get hurt. People are going to die. People are going to be in extreme distress. And it's not an easy thing, right? But if we have the tongue of the learned, the mind of the learned, right, and we are learned in his ways and in his scriptures, then we are his representatives and the judges on the earth through our intercession. Okay. So we can't allow any maliciousness to enter into our own hearts because of what we may personally suffer. It is guaranteed that we will suffer. Absolutely guaranteed. I always look at it like this. Yahusha saw that the only way to redeem us was going to cost him great suffering, a suffering that we cannot even begin to imagine. He paid literally with his pain and his blood and his sweat. He gave his own right arm for our redemption. Okay. So that suffering in humanity, he took on humanity and suffered a horrendous death, along with all the mocking, along with all the distrust, along with all the making fun of, the jesting, the ostracizing, all of those things. He suffered through all of that, through the accusations. Okay. He suffered through all of that by taking on humanity out of his great love for us. So we love him because he first loved us, right? That's what we're told in John. So to me, the great exchange is we suffer to take on his righteousness. We have to put our flesh to death. That's what we do. We end up saying, you know what? I'm not going to let this flesh rule me. And it is easy when someone harms you, your child, your grandchild, your parents, your husband, your wife, right? Whatever it is, your best friend. When something, whether it's a system or whether it's a person or whether it's an organization or a law, whatever it is, anger can get really, really stirred up towards hatred to where I just want them to have to pay. Okay? This is malice, a desire to witness harm to another. It's spitefulness. It's rooted in a desire to see evil come to another person, right? I just pray that God judges them. Okay. This is not our job. He tells us we bless our enemies. right? We have to take a look at this and say, I'm not going to operate in a spirit of malice, no matter what happens, because it'll strip me of my authority and my power to operate in his kingdom. All right, so the next thing says, for into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in a body that's subject unto sin. Right? So we can't be, running around sinning. Oh, well, Yah knows my heart. He does. He knows that it's wicked. We cannot give ourselves excuses for our shortcomings and our failures. We have a solution. It's called repentance. It's, I'm at the point in my life to where I'm like, I know that he whom the Lord loves, he chastens, right? And so I pray, Father, please keep loving me enough to put your finger right on the sore spot of any sin that is within me, of anything that's contrary to you within me. Just press on it until it's so uncomfortable that I'm willing to fall to my knees and deal with it, because I don't want anything stopping me from completing the assignment that you've given me on this earth. And so I'm praying, love me enough to keep your finger on that sore spot, Yah. And once we've resolved that one, let's just move on to the next one, because I know I will be working out my salvation with fear and trembling until I breathe my last breath. That is the nature of being human. There will always be something to work on. I will always be saying something I shouldn't have said, hurting someone's feelings, putting my foot in my mouth, making a wrong choice, being selfish. It's there. And so I have to keep myself right-sized with Yah and say, I realize I have issues and I want you to help me. Don't leave me in that state, but keep the pressure on. Keep that pressure on, because I know you love me and I know you want me to come up higher, and I can accomplish more if I deal with what you're telling me to deal with. Okay, wisdom is hokmah. The Brown Driver Briggs definition says it means to be skilled in war. And we are in a war. So I thought that was very, very interesting there. All right, move on before I get too long-winded. Okay, so we are to love, right? Love beareth all things, it believeth all things, it hopeth all things, it endureth all things, right? That's what we're told about love. And like I said, we're going to be really digging into love as a fruit of the Spirit. And I can't wait to share that one with you guys. But let's just think about who it is that we're trusting for a moment. I love Psalm 56, where it tells me that he puts my tears in a bottle, right? So I know from the scriptures that he literally said, okay, Atlantic Ocean, well, here's a handful of water. Let's pour that in, right? The Pacific Ocean, let's just pour that in, because he measured, that's how big he is. He is the creator. He is the all-sufficient one. He is the self-existent one, right? He exists. He exists without any help from anyone or anything. That's who El Shaddai is, right? But yet he is personal enough with me that he sees when I suffer, and he takes those tears and he collects them in a bottle. That's beautiful, Bethany. She says that he tabernacles in the sun. Beautiful. Okay, so he created plants for me to eat and enjoy. He created animals for me to love and fellowship with. He gave me taste buds and nerve endings, sounds, music, the stars, tears and dancing. True love bears up under all circumstances, and it just isn't all roses. So, Wisdom of Solomon 1, 5 through 7. Let's take a look at that. For the Ruach HaKodesh of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding, and will not abide when unrighteousness comes in. For wisdom is a loving Ruach and will not acquit a blasphemer of his words. For Elohim is witness of his mind and a true beholder of his heart and a hearer of his tongue. For the Ruach Yahuah fills the world, and that which contains all things has knowledge of the voice. Now, I put a little picture on here. This is a book. It's an old book. The author is called David also Brooke. I have several of his books. Back in the 90s, I found them at a thrift store, and most of them I believe he wrote in the 80s, but they are fantastic. And this one is so insightful. So look and try to get yourself a copy. If you don't have this book, it is an excellent book. It explains some wonderful things. And so I wanted to look at some of the words here, right? So understanding, what is understanding? It's Bina, the bet, the yod, the noon, and the hay. And it really means discernment. Now, I did a series about this, and so you can find that on the YouTube channel or the Brighteon channel or Facebook, right? You can look there to find that. And I believe that Tammy Sorensen and I are going to, probably in January, we're going to delve a little further into these Ruachs, right? And from a different area, because Tammy is a sound expert. She is a sound therapist. And if you didn't get to see it, I just did an interview with her and Dr. Monzo and Dr. Carrie Brown. We were all on an interview, and that was when my computer was just shutting down. And thank goodness Carrie was there and able to continue on with the interview, because I couldn't even say a whole lot because my computer was crashing on me, and my office was full of water, and boy, it was a mess, but it's all fixed now. So the next thing to say, what is blasphemy, right? So for wisdom is a loving Ruach and will not acquit a blasphemer of his word. So what is to blaspheme? The word is barak. It's a bet, a resh, and a kaf. It means to curse God, to blame or vilify Yah, right? And that's what the accuser likes to do. He's a blasphemer. He likes to accuse us to one another, to accuse God to us, to accuse us to God, right? That's what he's constantly doing, right? And he likes to blame, vilify. So what happens in your head is separating Yah's covering hand from your house. This is what this word barak for blaspheme. So to blaspheme is to separate Yah's covering hand from your house by what's going on in your brain. That's what it means. We have the ability to not do that, but it's our decision right here. It's what we decide. It's free will. Knowledge, da'at. Okay, so it's a dalet, an ayin, and a tav. It's perception, it's skill, it's awareness, right? And then we've got the voice, for knowledge of the voice, right? It says, for the Ruach Yahuah fills the world, and that which contains all things has knowledge of the voice. Okay, it's a creative voice. Okay, sound expressed thoughts through thunder. Okay? Sound. It's a noise expressed. It's thoughts that are expressed through the sound of thunder. It's his voice. Okay, let's keep going. So, as I was thinking about this resolve, one of my favorite movies is The Hiding Place. If it's been a long time since you watched it, or you've never watched it, it's on Prime, it's on Amazon Prime. Go watch The Hiding Place. So there were a couple of things that I was thinking about. Why is this one of my favorite stories ever? So in the story, no matter the risk or the consequences, they just continued to serve Yah. Those who had no one else to help them and show the love of Yahusha as an action despite the danger to themselves. That's what they were doing. They were just helping others that did not, they were being the hands and feet of Yahusha. It was a love in action despite what consequences they might have to bear. So Corey shared that she had to learn to fight the hate that wanted to take residence in her heart because of the abuse she watched Betsy suffer. This is what I was talking about early. This is that struggle within, right? Because when you were witnessing something horrific happen to someone you love, hate wants to rise up. When you are being treated unjustly, unfairly, persecution, it has the ability to try to stir up hate within you. And it's a natural human emotion, but it's one that we can't afford. It's one that we have to fight. And I'm telling you, I understand this on a personal level. I have had someone do something that is probably the most horrendous, hurtful thing that anyone has ever done to me. And it's happened during the last year. And I have had to fight this and say, Father, change my mindset, because in the natural mind, right? If I'm allowing the enemy to take me captive and feed me thoughts, right? My mind's going to go towards malice, towards, I just wish they weren't even here. Well, that's wrong. That's of the enemy. We can't go there, right? I mean, there's a part of us when someone does something so horrific that your heart screams out, I want justice, right? But justice is in Yah's way and Yah's timing. And here's the truth of it. Right now, if he was to execute justice on all the things that I think are wrong and the people that I think are wrong, I would have to be judged too. Because when judgment hits, it's hitting across the board, right? Do I want his extreme judgment to hit my life right now? Or are there things I need to be working on? Well, right sizing myself says, you know what? I have plenty of things that I need to be working on to work out my own salvation with fear and trembling before him. So I can't afford to be wanting his judgment and his justice to hit others, right? Because that's what would have to happen. Instead, I need to pray for those people that have hurt me the same way that I pray for myself. And that is that they will be drawn into the loving arms of the Father, and that he would help them work out their own salvation with fear and trembling before him, so that they complete what he created them for in fullness and in perfection, and they don't miss out on a thing, right? That's how I pray for myself. So that's how I've got to pray. And that's how you have to fight hate. It's not easy. It's not easy. It comes with tears and snot and bended knee and on your face and fasting and some suffering to the soul. It comes with putting to death some things in our soul so that right? That's what it is. And so that's what we have to do. We have to fight that hatred. So as a family, they learned together that God uses everything, even the lice and the flies, as they were stuffed into barracks built for 200 women. This is Betsy and Corey Tinboom, right? So Betsy and Corey, right? They were in a barracks that had been built for 200, but they were there with 700 women. So the conditions were so bad that the guards would not walk into the barracks. And this opened up the way for them to have Bible studies with no hindrance. So even in the midst of having to suffer being, tormented by the flies and the lice and the vermin, right? It gave them a space to witness to other souls. Is my heart at a place that if I was in that kind of a condition, that I could be grateful for the flies and the lice and the vermin that were attacking me so that I could share Yah's word freely? Is my heart there? I mean, I've never been tested to that level, but these women were. And so I had a couple of quotes. Betsy said, "There's no pit so deep that his love is not deeper still." And then as a family, their father said, "We must obey God's laws rather than man's laws," right? So suffering, tragedy, and hardships, right, are designed by our enemy, the accuser, to crush our hope and to get us to accuse Yah with him, that Yah is not good, that he is not righteous, that he is not just, that he is not loving and worthy of praise. I mean, this is what happened, when you read the stories in Acts and what the disciples suffered, what Paul suffered. I mean, beaten, shipwrecked, thrown in prison, right? Paul and Silas, Peter, they went through such great hardship. The entire early church they experienced persecution. And it's not going to be any different. Right now, we are in a short window of time where I have the freedom to come on YouTube and Brighteon and any other thing I can put this on and Facebook, right? And share. Okay. But that will come to an end. And so what you're going to have with you in the hardship is whatever you have invested in. Okay, start making those deposits and those investments because you're going to need it. So praise will break the chain, right? We may be chained physically, but nobody can chain your spirit. Nobody can chain up your Ruach that has direct communication with the Ruach HaKodesh in any and every circumstance, helping us. He is our counselor. He's our friend. He helps us, right? He comforts us. He gives us wisdom and understanding and knowledge in every situation. But we've got to quiet that soul. We've got to put that soul into submission. Right? What is my soul? It's my mind, it's my will, it's my emotions, it's whatever I'm allowing to run around in here. He told us, take every thought captive. If we didn't have the ability to take every thought captive, he would not have told us to do so in his word. So we take those thoughts captive, right? Mind, will, and emotions. And we say, not my will, but yours be done. Right? And my emotions, we say, in quietness and confidence is my strength. The joy of Yah is my strength. I do not have to be in the chaos, have my waters in chaos. I can trust in that covenantal sign, right? That I'm in covenant with him, no matter the circumstances. And so that's what we're looking at. And praise is a powerful, powerful weapon. And that's some of what Tammy Sorensen and I are going to be talking about too, is our worship as a high form of warfare. So the wisdom of Solomon 1:8-9. Therefore, he that speaks unrighteous things cannot be hid, neither shall vengeance, when it punishes, pass by him. For inquisition shall be made into the counsels of the wicked men, and the sound of his words shall come unto Yahuah for the manifestation of his wicked deeds. All right. We just finished, they just wrapped up COP 28, right? And so check that out, and all the things that they were doing, right? They have the rulers of this world have big plans for us, and they will cause suffering, and we have to be ready for it, right? But Yah knows. Nothing is hidden from his sight. Vengeance will not pass them by. And that's not my vengeance. It's the vengeance of Yah. Okay. He makes inquisition into their counsels. The sound of their words comes up before him. The manifestation of their wicked deeds is laid out before him. Nothing is hid from his sight. And he knows each and every one that has chosen these things. Without repentance, consequences are going to be suffered. Not by me, but by Yah. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon 1:10-16. I'm almost done. I thought I could do this in 20 minutes. It's almost 50. I guess I have no ability to judge the time, right? So the wisdom of Solomon 10-16. For the ear of jealousy hears all things, right? That's his jealousy. It's kana, right? He is envy. He has a protective ownership of what? Of us. Right? He paid a great price, and he is going to demand exclusive rights to what is his. That's kana. That's that jealousy of Yah. It belongs to Yah. For the ear of jealousy hears all things, and the noise of murmurings is not hid, right? What is that murmuring? This is what happened in the wilderness. So we do not want to be a people that are murmuring, complaining. That Hebrew word is lun. It's a lamed, a yod, and a nun, right? We don't want to be complaining about anything. We want to set our minds on him and say, look at what he endured for me. There's nothing, he can't ask anything too much of me. He has the right to ask whatever he wants, because I have been purchased with a price, and I am not my own. I am his. Okay. So he hears these things, says, therefore beware of murmuring, which is unprofitable, and refrain your tongue from backbiting, for there's no word so secret that shall go for naught, and the mouth that belies slays the soul. Right? So what is it to belie? It's to fail to give a true notion, a true impression of something. It's a misrepresentation. So if I say that I'm his, but I am whining and complaining about everything, aren't I giving those who witness that a false impression of who Yah is? That's to belie, right? And the mouth that belies, it'll slay the soul. Seek not death in the air of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with the works of your hands. For Elohim made not death, neither has he pleasure in the destruction of the living. For he created all things, that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful. And there's no poison of destruction in them, nor the kingdom of death upon the earth. For righteousness is immortal, but the wicked men with their works and words called it to them. For when they thought to have it their friend, they consumed to naught and cut a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it. Very interesting book, Wisdom of Solomon. So this reminded me of what we see in Isaiah 28:14 and 15. It says, "Wherefore hear the word of Yahuah, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem, because you've said, we've cut a covenant with death and with Sheol. Are we at agreement? When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we've made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we've hidden ourselves. Therefore, thus says Adonai Yahuah, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believes shall not make haste." So who is that? The rock of our salvation, Zor. Look, there, it's a Zadi connected to thoughts. There's a hiddenness, right? The stone that the builders rejected, right? That's their trip over that stone, a rock of offense, right? Very interesting there. Okay, so that was it for right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope it's been a blessing to you. And I hope that you'll join me throughout the week as I have some presentations dealing with the fruit of the Spirit, so that we can continue to strengthen our Ruach. And for now, I will say shalom.